The University of Nebraska at Kearney opened its doors in 1905 as the Nebraska State Normal School at Kearney. Primary responsibility was to prepare teachers for rural Nebraska. And it's been part of our proud heritage for over 100 years now, and during that time we've educated and prepared over 20,000 teachers for the state of Nebraska and really for the world. Several years ago, former Dean of the College of Education in Maryland, Hadley, and I, along about the centennial for the University of Nebraska at Kearney, we were talking about the history of our institution and how it began as a normal school. And we started thinking about all the positive things that those teachers over those years had done and the hardships they faced. We thought it was really important to memorialize the efforts and pay tribute to those teachers from those one-room schoolhouses and the part they played in Nebraska.
One-room schools were so important to Nebraska. They started our education, one teacher, one school. So one teacher, first grade through eighth grade in our one school.
We begin our day with penmanship.
The teacher was so important to the school.
Penmanship is an art.
These teachers were among the very first professional teachers in the schools in rural Nebraska. And they faced many, many hardships when they went out there. They had to be self-reliant, innovative. They had to make do with what they had.
The one-room teacher handled everything within the school. You got here way before the students. You started that fire. You had the school ready. You got the water from the well. Who knows how far the well was, had to bring in the water. You were the sole person responsible for those students.
But it is different than what you say in your...
Well, the One Room, One Teacher program is really about remembering the heritage that this institution has and the good work that these teachers did for many, many years in the state of Nebraska. It's a way for us to remember the past, remember the great efforts of those teachers, but also to provide an opportunity for future teachers in the state of Nebraska. All gifts will go to fund scholarships for UNK students that are going to be teachers in the future. Honorees will be memorialized in a wall of honor located in UNK's College of Education. Although this is a UNK initiative, it's much bigger than that. We're open to working with teachers from any institution that worked in any of the country schools, and we want to have an opportunity to honor them as well as the UNK graduates that went out and did this wonderful work in the state of Nebraska. The key piece to this program is to capture the stories of these teachers in their schools. So we're hoping that as part of this, we'll not only will get a donation from the donor, but also a story, whether that be the former teacher telling their story about that schoolhouse and those experiences, or the story that the former students have about what it was like to go to that country one-room schoolhouse.
Now you may sit down. Remember, back straight, hands folded.
It was hard to imagine that my mother taught in a one-room school, but when you listen to stories and her duties and what it did for her, that growing, maturing, that sense of responsibility at a very young age to teach in a one-room school was inspiring. I'm proud to be able to support and contribute towards the country school funds, where we'll be able to remember the heritage of where education began in this state and what really made it strong. And I think that there's a number of people who will feel really good and have a passion about one of the strongest Nebraska traditions, that of a country school.
The One Room, One Teacher program is a wonderful opportunity for Nebraskans all across the state to pay tribute to teachers from the rural schools in Nebraska. I hope you'll consider giving to this program.